Well, shalom, my dear family, shalom. Yes, this is your brother Dana, and I'm still here in the city of Atlanta. Uh, but this video is for you because it comes from a place in OneLove. I haven't done a video like this since end of July, beginning of August. In between, I know you've seen my short videos, but those are for my white family. And then since November, the 1st of November, I haven't been doing any videos. And this video is going to explain what's been up between myself and the Most High Yah. And so I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible. But I don't want to leave out how great of a God we serve. In order for it to happen, I got to take you back to about a year and a half after I graduated from Moody Bible Institute, so about 1997, 1998. And in all honesty, that first year to year and a half was a shock to me. Life was very different. I mean, almost like day and night, literally black and white, because I grew up and lived in an all-white southern Minnesota rural country town of about 4,500 people, including most of the dogs and the cats. And now I was living in an inner city community of Chicago, a black inner city community, and a community that was full with violence, but also injustices. And experiencing all that stuff that was going on around me, and then dealing with the things that were going on to me, it produced some stress. And eventually that stress turned into waking up with a headache and going to bed with a headache. And the difference in these days was just the intensity of the headache. Some of them resulting in vomiting. And then I ended up having a brain aneurysm, they believe, but it caused a stroke. And they called my mom and dad from Minnesota, and they flew to Chicago in hopes that I was still alive when they reached the hospital. The next morning, I was stable enough that they were going to send me for an MRI. And in between that time, Doug, my good friend, came with several of his elders at the church, and they prayed over me. And then when the results of the MRI came back and there was nothing there, the doctors kept me in the hospital for 7 days under observation because they could not understand what happened, but that I was okay. I know it was a stroke because I still deal with some of the residue this time in my life. So anyway, I was finally allowed not only out of the hospital, but to be able to return to my home by myself. And so that Monday morning, just like a Monday morning today, I woke up and I decided to walk a few blocks to just talk to my job and my coworkers, and I couldn't drive yet. And so while I was there for a couple of hours, my apartment was being robbed, and my puppy, when I got there, I then also realized was stolen. And I remember falling to my knees, and I called my mom, and I said, "Mom, you and Dad need to come and get me because God has made it very clear that He does not want me here." And she said and assured me that as soon as Dad was home, the car would be packed and they would be on their way from Minnesota to Chicago, about an 8-hour drive. In a few minutes, seconds after I hung up the phone, a young man that I was mentoring walked in, and he said, "Joe," he said, "yeah, we all heard what happened to you, and we all know that you're going to leave us just like everybody else has and does when things don't go good for them." And he threw a set of keys at me and he walked out the door. At that moment, I picked up my phone and I told Mom that it wasn't God who wanted me to go, but it was the enemy. Those headaches and that stuff vanished from that day forward. And it was at that point in time, I really do believe that God saw my dedication and my willingness. And so for those next 28 plus years, I had the incredible journey of meeting the young men from the streets and building relationships with them, to being able to be a volunteer at Cook County Jail, Division 10, for 18 years, as well as volunteering at the Juvenile Detention Center for 13 years, and all the other areas that God had opened up the doors for me to learn about racism, white supremacy, mine and my white privilege. And so when he called me to come down here to Atlanta, I really thought that my life would be very different. And I came down here excited. I came down here with a new business, RP, Restorative Practicing Coaching, utilizing the tools and the experiences and the education that I had while up in Chicago to be a blessing down here. But almost 2 years later, every opportunity, whether it was for employment or whether it was to even volunteer, those doors were shut in my face. And I've been living under shame and maybe guilt that I did what I wanted to do and not what the Most High Yah wanted me to. Even a bit of refusal to listen to the Most High. Because remember, when I came in February, I shared with you the last time that I was on this video, that in July, I was called to an interview from TJ Maxx. And when the manager walked through the door, she heard the voice of God tell her that you better not hire this man, because what I have for him, a 9-to-5 job, is going to hinder that. And so if you hire him, it won't be a good thing for you in your job. And so she spoke that to me. And on the way out, I told her that, well, know this, my sister, you are a true chosen child of the Most High Yah. And we gave each other a hug, and she said, young man, she said, brother, she said, when you accomplish whatever the Father is talking about, and you will know that, she said, make sure you let me know. And well, that accomplishment was this book, Welcome to Racism. And so when that was done, I thought that life would change for me, that finally, at least some doors would open, maybe some income would come in, so that my expenses of living here was not falling on my mom. Because see, just 2 years ago this November, we lost my dad. And I, as the oldest sibling, the oldest son, should be the one taking care of the mom and not vice versa. So that was shame and guilt that I have been carrying this whole time. And then that shame and that guilt is multiplied when you get calls of hate from your own brothers and sisters who don't understand that I'm doing everything that I could do. And then I was feeling frustrated when these perfect jobs were coming my way, and I wouldn't even be asked for an interview. Frustrated, but yet disobedient, because in July, the Most High used this lady to let me know. And so, family, the beginning of November, I began to have almost nightly dreams. And these dreams left me, even while I was sleeping, in a state of horror. They weren't a boogeyman up from underneath my bed coming and grabbing me while I was sleeping. It wasn't some monster coming through my window or door while I'm cooking in the kitchen and getting me. But all of these dreams were familiar faces. All these dreams were familiar situations. But all of these dreams since the beginning of November were causing me to wake up every morning with a headache, and some were a 2 or a 3, so I could at least continue to type the book that I'm working on now, or at least I could get the dogs out, or at least I could, do some things for OneLove. But then most of the mornings I would wake up and the headache was so strong that I would make it from the bed and maybe to the sofa to try to get up and get something to eat to back to bed. And then last Sunday night, a week ago, I had another one of those dreams. And when I woke up from that dream, my heart was pounding and my body was almost shaking. But then it was as if somebody behind me shot 2 arrows that went right through my head into the back of my eyes. And that pain hit me so strong, I went right back to bed trying to sleep to get rid of the pain, but I couldn't even get to sleep because the pain was so bad. And throughout the day, the pain intensified to where then it went behind my left eye so strong that it was removing my vision. And as it was removing my vision, I felt the pain going down my neck and down into my back, where it didn't matter how I turned. And I really began to say, God, what is it? If I've been disobedient, Father, just let me know. But I'm trying to finish this book, this next assignment. I want to be faithful to you. I want to be faithful to your people. I want to be faithful to my family. I want to be faithful. Finally, that night, after I also began to vomit throughout the day, it left me almost completely. Well, Tuesday, I woke up with a little bit of a headache. Wednesday, but I began to analyze these headaches. And analyzing these headaches, analyzing these dreams caused me to have to go a little bit deeper into what these dreams were stirring up in me. And as Prince Emil told me one night on the phone, he said, oh, my dear brother. He said, those are ghosts of the past. He said, that's residue that you need to completely shake off. And so for the last month and a half, these dreams have been coming, and they're all based on various fears of rejection, inadequacy, fears of getting lost, that I left Christianity, and so now I'm facing the consequences as I was warned would happen if I left the Christian theology. And it wasn't just the headaches, family, it was also the darkness of hopelessness and abandonment that I began to feel. And so on Thursday, just last week, my headache was about a 3 or a 4. And I had made a doctor's appointment to get some allergy testing done about 2 months ago, and I didn't want to miss it. So I was able to get myself together, and I got down there, and they went to go take my vitals, and my blood pressure is usually always good because I go to the gym, I try to eat as healthy as I can. So it's never been like over 122, 120, 115. And my bottom numbers usually been, 68, 70, very good blood pressure. So I wasn't expecting anything. And all I know is when the blood pressure was done, the nurse said, Mr. Stevens, just you can't move. I must get the doctor. Making a long story short, family, my blood pressure was 184 over 126. Anything over 160 is stroke potential. Everything from 180 over is death potential. I stayed there for a while, letting them know I'll be okay. I just had some things on my mind. I'll be okay. I got some things, it'll be okay. And over the couple of hours, it kind of began to go down enough to a safe zone. But family, as I was there sharing with them about my headache on Monday, and how it began, and how it intensified, and how it went down the back of my neck, the doctor stopped me and said, Mr. Stevens, do you realize all those symptoms are a stroke in progress? He says, if your headache was over a 10, when today your headache was a 3, and your blood pressure is at 184, he says, I can't imagine where your blood pressure was Monday. And when I got home, family, I have spent the last several days going deep with the Father and analyzing these dreams and releasing those fears, releasing those things that I have no control over. And then he reminded me of the story that I shared with you of the stroke that took place back in 1997. See, that was a physical stroke that was happening because of the physical things that I was enduring and that I was experiencing that tried to bring physical death. And just a week ago today, I was experiencing a spiritual stroke of the fears and all those things inside of me that would kill me spiritually, which then ultimately would take me out physically. And so I say this, family, of his faithfulness to us. And it also showed me this, that it is time that I take full reins to the calling that the Most High Yah has given me at a time such as now. And even though I had all the various different naysayers in the physical realm when I was in the inner city of Chicago doing the work that I was doing, I am going to have those spiritual naysayers here. But I can no longer allow the fear to stop me from embracing the calling that the Most High God has given to me when he spoke to me in July of 2014. And this biggest fear that I had to overcome is to think that you, my Hebrew family, would result in believing that my purpose of all that I have done and do is for my own self-rich and gain. And that is why I have never asked for help, and I've never wanted anybody to know what was going on in my life. But today, I want to share this with you. I am just one chapter of finally finishing my next purpose. And that is to get this next book out that I know the Most High is going to use. And this is the book. In the pages of this book lies a profound revelation that changed my life irrevocably. I heard a voice from beyond the ordinary bounds of our worldly system declare, "They are not cursed, son. They are my chosen precious children." This revelation in July of 2014 unearthed the root of the intense animosity that you, my black family, has faced, and has illuminated a truth that for those 30 years while I was living in Chicago, I wasn't just residing amongst my black brothers and sisters or my African American brothers and sisters. I was not merely cohabitating with those informally known as my Negro brothers and sisters or even my brothers and sisters of color. But in fact, in truth, I was dwelling amongst the Hebrews. And so, family, this book is going to reveal the same way the Father revealed to me through his scripture and through my living in the inner city of Chicago for 30 years, without a shadow of a doubt, that you, my black brothers and sisters, are not African American, you're not Negro, you're not people of color, you're not black, but you are Hebrew. I'm just done. And so I am asking you, my family, that the Most High Yah will put on your heart, if you would be willing to help me. I needed to raise $3,000. I needed to come up with $3,000 to finish the book. And then also, I've been given an opportunity to get some coaching and training and help by Les Brown. And family, I need some help. I have the confidence to go on, and before the big churches in Christianity to share what I need to share. And I've got a lot of the confidence I need to go before those of you in my Hebrew family that have called me before your congregations and your assemblies. But I know that my purpose has to go beyond both of those, to the public stage, to reach out to our Hebrew black brothers and sisters who don't know who are not yet in one of those categories. And I also to be on a stage to call out the racism of my people. And that is one of my fears, because I need some help in boosting my confidence. And then the reality is we live in a world that you need to be up to date, and there are brothers and sisters who have paved the way. And the Father can use them to help me pave his way. Joseph became who he was because God paved the way for him and the people that he encountered. I think about Joshua became great because Moses helped pave the way and teach him. And I need that help and support. So originally, all of this was going to come to about $3,000, but a dear Hebrew sister, as I was bringing this idea to some family members, she not only said, yes, do it, but she planted a seed of $200. And so I don't need $3,000, I need $2,800. And then a sister planted $150, so I don't even need $2,800. I'm already down to $2,650. And so if you would be willing to plant a seed in this endeavor, I would be grateful, because I don't want to ask my mom for more money. She's done so much already. And I can't get a job. And it's frustrating, family. I'm on food stamps for the first time in my life. And I'm humiliated every time I go to that grocery store. I hide it because I'm wrestling with my own judgment. See, growing up, it was my family that would look at people on welfare, especially you, my black family, and say, lazy. Oh, they got good clothes, lazy. And so now I have to deal with that same very judgment that my family put out on other people, as if that judgment is back on me. And finally, this week, for the first time in 8 months, I was able to go and use my SNAP card. With a real life cashier, facing that fear of humiliation and laziness that maybe somebody thought I was. And so, family, I want to thank you for allowing me to overcome this fear and saying that, yes, I do need some help. Not to pay rent, not to pay anything except for to help me finish this book and get some coaching. The link is below. The link will be up here on your up on your phone. It's to my webpage, OneLoveSociety.love, and on that webpage, it will be on the home front page, and I'm calling this project the Hebrew Project, the But Hebrew Project. And I will keep you posted on the donation page where I am, so that if all the monies come in, I will be able to move forward on both of these things. I'm moving forward regardless, but I'm rounding the last chapter of this book. And I also know that this last month has been this struggle, because this last chapter, all the chapters lead up to who you are. And this last chapter then leads up that if you are who you are, then you were brought to a land where that nation would teach you false religions, religions of wood and stone. And I know that that religion of wood was Christianity. And that is the religion that this book and that my life now must stand against. And that will not come easy. And that is why those deep-rooted fears, as Prince Emil said, those ghosts of the past had to go. So thank you, family, for sticking with me for this 25-minute video. And I'm okay that it's a long video because only those who are my family will stick to the end. And I know and I believe you'll still be my family. And so this is your brother Dana, coming to you from the city of Atlanta, blessed and highly favored, not just because the Most High Yah has called me to do what he's called me to do, but because of you. Because doesn't the Bible say, those who bless his true children will be blessed? That's why I struggled at first living in the inner city community. But I've never, in all these 30 years, have ever wanted to go back. I'm blessed. Thanks, family. Shalom.